Hey, are you tired of paying hidden fees for heating and cooling services? Well, look no further than Straight Shooter Heating and Cooling. At Straight Shooter, we understand the importance of quality and dependability. That's why we offer 1-hour appointments, windows, no diagnostic fees, no dispatch fees, just straight up, honest service you can trust. Call Straight Shooter Heating and Cooling today, 619-922-3937 for your $17.76 AC tune-up. No bull, just cool. Or book online at Straight Shooter AC. That's Straight Shooter AC right there, straightshooter.ac.
Okay, 2 quick things. Go to gunprom.com and buy
been.
your Gunprom tickets if you have not already. Just go to gunprom.com, buy your tickets. October 12th, up in the Omni in Carlsbad. But please check it out. We'll talk all about it throughout the show and through a bunch of other shows. Also, gun cleaning classes, July 20th. Seal 1 makes cleaning your gun easier and faster than the old ways. To sign up for our gun cleaning class in El Cajon, you go to gunownersradio.com. It's $40, and you get a Seal 1 cleaning kit. So please sign up.
Where's that going to be at?
American Shooters out in El Cajon.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we got to kick the show off by talking about what happened less than 24 hours ago.
I didn't think you'd want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think we should talk about it. Unbelievable. I think.
Did you watch it?
I saw the.
I watched it live.
I wasn't watching it live. It took me. I watched the reruns, but absolutely unbelievable. I don't think. We live in a day where everyone gets so much media that I don't think people are. This isn't as big a deal, as people should be making it. Mm-hmm.
Well, the other stations didn't even cover it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, in their defense, they never cover a Trump rally. It took them a while, and I turned them on at 10 o'clock at night, and they treated it, believe it or not, like an actual news story.
Which it is.
And that's all it is. It's a news story. Yes, there's 1,000 things we can talk about. What people did right, what they did wrong. There's 1,000 things.
Well, I think that it's important that we stick to facts, but
right. You are very a factual person.
I also think that there's a very obvious conclusion that I think we should talk about. Mm-hmm. But let me touch on a couple of things. First off, I don't understand why people are praising the Secret Service. I keep hearing people saying, "Hey, thanks to the Secret Service for their quick response."
Please.
I think this is a complete and total utter failure on the Secret Service's part. You had a guy with no training climbing up a building with an AR while a half a dozen people shouted, "He's got a gun." And this 20-year-old who, and he was 165 yards away and nothing?
Did you hear the latest? A local police officer crawled up on the top of the building, confronted him. The kid with the AR pointed at the cop, and he ran and went down the ladder. So he knew he was caught. So he turned, and they say this is why he shot as rapidly as he did. Missing Trump was purely act of God. I don't care what anybody says. That was act of God. I mean, all he had to do was turn his head one way or the other, and it would be over. But the kid was panicked and just started firing. I don't think they're not going to find out that he had any really sniper training. Do you think?
No, I don't think so. But with an AR, 165-yard shot, an
AR's got, 600-yard shot?
Well, it's just not that difficult.
It
you don't even need glass. You don't even need glass for that.
No.
Was he running an optic? Was he running iron sights? I haven't seen.
Well, I don't think anybody has seen the weapon.
No, but I don't want to get too far. I mean, this was an utter failure by the Secret Service, and if people aren't fired and they aren't heavily criticized, what are we doing?
Well,
how could this possibly be?
I have an interview from the shooter. And command.
What do you mean you have an interview from the shooter?
Well, it's on
what shooter?
The sniper that killed the kid.
Oh.
And he was held. Yeah, I know. Not that shooter.
What?
He's dead. You can't get an interview out of him.
That was why we were perplexed.
Yeah, I know. But the sniper shooter had him for 3 minutes, and command would not give him the okay to take him
wherever the failure is. It is Secret
Sounds
Service.
like
well, of course.
Whether it's the guys on the ground.
But didn't we do this in Afghanistan?
Well, I don't know, but I can't believe that I'm hearing over and over again. The Secret Service. We're just wrong. Total utter failure.
Well, what else
Total
would you
utter
expect
failure.
them to say?
I don't mean the Secret Service. I mean people around them.
No,
like
I know.
I expect them to say, "What the hell's going on with the Secret Service?"
Well, Mr. Comer he's expecting them to be in front of Congress ASAP. But if Saturday they said that they weren't going to talk to the public for 2 weeks.
I acknowledge that trying to keep an assassin away from a person is an extremely difficult,
without a shadow of a doubt.
But it is pretty obvious that if there is an easy scenario, it's some kid with an AR in front of hundreds of people climbing up on a building 165 yards away.
Wouldn't you put somebody on that building in its close proximity?
Well, that's basically what I was going to say. Is it's normally protocol, from what I understand, for them to block off all access.
Yes.
For the duration of time. How did he get access to a rooftop?
But let's get into a little bit more important things. Some of the things that we know is this kid was 20 years old. Friends of his from high school are interviewed, and he was a social outcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he
they
was
all are.
severely picked on.
Yeah.
He had a kind of a no skills job. It was I think you call it a dietary technician or something like that. What that is it's somebody who, they're working like a nursing home or something like that. And it's like, oh, hey, this person needs a lot of protein or this person needs a lot of vegetables. So they, go get them from their room and they make sure that it's the right menu or whatever. It's totally an unskilled job. It could lead to something better, but he did actually do well in high school, is my understanding. He was a registered Republican. But he also was a donor to Act Blue, which is it's not just a Democrat, it's a pretty left-wing supporting group. Doesn't seem to have any social media, but he's right at that, like you just said, they all are. He's right at that age. It's a lot of the same, telltale. Like this guy was probably headed towards schizophrenia or something similar.
And he was impressionable. And when you have people saying things like Trump is Hitler.
So let's go there.
Impressionable.
So that's the next thing. So I do think that we're eventually going to find out that this guy was, had the same profile as all the other active shooters. I don't think that this guy was a calculated, sane political operative, you know what I mean, who thought he was actually going to make a difference and had people around him that were supporting him. But regardless, there is absolutely a conclusion to be drawn, and that is that the left, especially the Democrats, have fostered an environment where this type of thing, violence in the name of politics, is okay. Mm-hmm. And this is it. Like, this is the end of the line. Mm-hmm. This stops right here, right now. They have to be held accountable. They have to redirect the path that they've taken us down, and they need to address it. And I don't think anyone should ever vote for a Democrat again who doesn't have A, accountability, and B, a plan to get us out of this.
Right.
And what I'm talking about, what's this foster, an environment where this is acceptable? Look at the laws that they're passing. Look at the way they're treating criminals. Look at the way they're treating cops.
Right.
Look at the way, it's absolutely ridiculous. You look at some of these political protests, like the BLM riots across the country. Right. It wasn't even one city. It was all over.
That's okay.
And well, not only was it okay, and they're like, hey, they're just protesting and everything's okay.
They're starving.
And, whatever. They were actually, there were Democratic leaders that were
2 minutes.
That were. We're gonna keep going. We're not going to commercial in 2 minutes. We got too much to talk about. We'll make it up. I promise. So they had Democratic leaders who were putting up money to bail people out of jail who were arrested for violence during. This is an absolute problem now. And at the same time, by the way, you had right-wing protesters for COVID, and none of that turned violent.
No,
none of that turned violent.
Yeah.
You look at,
you can
incident
say the same
after
about Jan
incident.
6.
Well, nobody died except for one of the right-wing protesters who was killed by a cop when she was unarmed.
Yeah.
I mean, none of them have been prosecuted for sedition.
No.
None of them have been, it was murder, anything like that.
How long have they been in prison?
Well, yeah, and all it was a riot, which was bad enough. But what I'm saying is that doesn't show a pattern. No. Where on the left, especially under official Democrat leadership, there is a pattern that needs to stop.
Right.
It needs to correct. We need to course correct right now.
But who's going to do it?
And if you look at like, do you remember when the representatives were playing softball a few years ago, and some left wing, that guy wasn't crazy.
No.
By the way,
he had a mission.
Yeah, he was just a left wing activist, and he shot some reps.
Scalia's.
I mean, yeah, Scalia, Steve Scalia. It's over and over and over again. When you look at the issues, the left fosters and excuses an environment where violence in the name of politics is okay. It's excused. It's understood.
Well, if they can't
it's defended
beat you politically, then having this type of mindset is okay.
Well, and on the right, I got to tell you, there have been some incidences.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys with the tiki torches or whatever. But immediately, that stuff is squashed on the right. Mm-hmm. To their credit, that stuff is squashed. And there are a lot of Democrats you can tell are starting to turn. Like some of the more famous ones people have heard is like Bill Maher.
He's gone off the rails.
Those folks are sitting in the Democratic Party going, hey, you know what? This is not.
They're not. That's not their Democratic Party anymore.
I got to tell you, I just went out to breakfast with a guy who's extremely left wing. He and I have known each other for 10 years. He's actually a lobbyist, sort of. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to tell who he is, but he is way left wing, like unapologetically communist. And I don't mean that as pejorative. I mean he likes communist economics.
Right. And
we hadn't had breakfast in about 6-7 years. We like to sit there and argue and kind of politely argue, and over breakfast. And we hadn't had breakfast in about 6 years at least before COVID. We just had breakfast a couple of weeks ago. Even he's going, this is way too much. This isn't what I want. I did not sign up for this.
They're not there. Everybody is saying that. It's not that I'm leaving the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is leaving me.
Exactly. It's gotten so extreme. And again, they are fostering an environment where violence in the name of politics is okay, and that is no longer acceptable in any way. And they need to be held accountable. Need to be held accountable in public, where, hey, we need, and while, journalists need to ask questions. We need to show up and ask questions when Democrats are talking. Say, hey, politely, you guys, what are you doing about this environment that's been created where people think it's okay to? I was sitting at a counter in a diner last night reading about everything that was going on because it was a couple hours after the shooting. And a couple came in, they're behind me, and she joked about how they went out to eat to celebrate Trump getting shot.
Yeah.
And then he. And I thought, okay, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see this total white trash, whatever, hillbilly. I turned around and this was, I don't know, mid to late 30s, totally normal PTA looking couple, Democrat supporting, with 2 kids.
Wow.
Kid was about 10 years old, kid was about 7-year-old, something like that. And they're joking about, that little assassination joke before family dinner.
Oh, my God.
When I could sit here and give example after example about what I'm talking about when it comes to them fostering an environment of violence in support of. I don't even care if they hate, Dave. There are things I hate.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
We're not violent.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, go hate in your living room.
Yeah.
But when you're making these jokes, when you're doing these things, and then it all the things that are happening around Trump, I understand that he's a barker, right? He's loud. He's bombastic.
In your face.
He's changed the way that the people in politics talk. I get that, but the things being said about him. And what's acceptable? How he's not gonna leave office. He's gonna kill democracy. He's the next Hitler.
He's gonna line us all the Democrats up and shoot them or put them in prisons. Alicia, what did you think? I mean, did you watch it live or are you at the range?
I was actually running a class at the time when my students kind of piped up and was like, "Oh my gosh, someone just attempted to."
So knowing you and your phone, you've done enough research.
I actually brought up. I will tell you. You mentioned earlier about how not a whole lot of news media was covering initially. I only was able to find it on Fox News. That's where I had to go to find it.
Well, in their defense, they were holding they were airing the debate or the what do you call it live, along with Newsmax.
That's it, and so I was able to see it moments after it happened.
But I want to be clear. I am not saying that they caused what I think is going to be found to be an insane 20-year-old to go do what he did. I'm not saying that. It's a very fine line. But what I am saying is there is absolutely a culture that has been created by Democrats and leadership that violence is okay.
Right.
And that's what needs to stop.
Well, there's another topic we need to get into. Especially if you looked what?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, if you look at any of the videos of the Secret Service protecting Trump, what is with this one lady that was 5 foot tall?
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't know.
That's DEI. In fact, the head of the Secret Service was a DEI hire, and she already said they're going to hire as many Secret Service agents with no experience just to level out Secret Service. I don't want somebody that doesn't know anything about that job.
I don't know. I don't. I haven't heard that or read that, so I can't really comment.
Well, they did a news thingy.
But whatever happened yesterday,
it's got to be fixed.
Was wrong.
Right. Absolutely,
was a mistake.
Well, they're changing everything for next week's Republican convention. They said they're beefing up, they're changing this and they're changing that. You were going to say.
I was just going to bring up the point. So, Mike, you were talking about how about the violence and becoming acceptable within the party. I think not only that, if you take a look at the demographic of the age, I think my prediction is going to be that there's going to be a lot more. If you look at just that age, that demographic, it's becoming more socially acceptable to have violence to be a response. I don't know that it's so much Democratic versus Republican. I think it's just that age demographic is seen as an option to kind of help get their point across.
There's no repercussion.
Right.
I mean, I can pull out a gun and shoot you, and I'm not going to get in any trouble with it.
Well, you may think that. Right. But so it's, I think we're training up, or far too many of these people are being trained up to not understand the realities of the world, and they're seeing that as a possible a possible solution to problems.
I would like to see Democratic leadership address what you just said and figure out how to solve it. Then.
I totally agree.
And I'm even getting pushback. I've told a couple of folks who are big into the Democratic Party. They're not leadership, but they're very committed to the Democratic Party, and they're pushing back on everything I just said. And I'm going, why would you push back on your leadership trying to fix violence as a result of politics? Why would you push back on that?
What was their answer?
They don't have an answer.
Well, of course not.
They're just, we don't like being blamed. Okay, it's not that simple anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that simple. Just why wouldn't you want to help fix this problem? And oh, by the way, if you don't think they can, then why are we voting for them?
Yeah.
If they can't fix,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but I do on another level. I do think this finally does need to get this issue. Maybe not this incident yesterday, but this issue, and I think they're closely related, but maybe not directly correlated. But this issue needs to be addressed. It needs to be laid at the feet of the Democratic Party leadership, and they need to come up with a plan, and they need to be questioned on it, and it needs to be fixed.
And they need to be interviewed. Maxine Waters needs to come up and say what her thought was on this. Where here was a woman that was screaming that if you've seen a Republican in a grocery store or a restaurant, get in their face. None of that is necessary.
Well, I think we all should have known how bad it was back when Mitt Romney ran for president and was viciously attacked,
right?
As if he was some kind of tyrannical dictator. Like, really, Mitt Romney?
Yeah, I know.
Mitt Romney. I mean,
well, what about Kavanaugh?
Another great example.
What about Justice Thomas?
Another great example.
I mean, if they don't like you, they throw all the rules out the window on how they're going to attack you.
And that has to end. And whatever it is with this Trump derangement syndrome, man, it's real.
Okay.
Number one.
Yeah, but here's the thing that's really got my curiosity up. What is up with his shoes?
I know, I heard that.
Did you hear that?
So let me get my shoes.
Not once.
Yeah.
twice.
Got his shoes.
He was not leaving. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
He was not leaving till he got his shoes back. So another guest I had on this morning said that he owns his own shoe company. So
Trump?
Yeah. So they must have been like $1,000 shoes, but he would not leave the state.
Yeah, when they finally had gathered around him, they acknowledged that everything was clear and that the shooter was down and they were going to move him. And he started saying, "Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes." I don't know why he didn't have his shoes. Maybe he got knocked out of his shoes.
Well,
I don't know.
they may have because they tried to. I mean, he was smart enough to know because when it grazed his ear, it's like as if a bug, as soon as he did that, he knew and he went right straight to the ground.
Right.
And then everybody came in and started piling on him. I mean, I had to chuckle.
Yeah, let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes. And then they almost started to move, and he said, "Wait." And that's when he did the fist bump. And said,
dude, that's going to be a photo that's going to go down in infamy.
I got to
with
say,
the American flag in the background, Secret Service, and him with his fist in the air. And I don't think you've ever seen an expression on his face like that one.
No, and I get it. Well, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, but I get it. One thing I can absolutely criticize Republicans all day long. But one thing about Republicans that they definitely have over Democrats is the skill of leadership.
Yes.
And that is a skill. That is a learned skill. Yeah. That is just like any other skill, just like shooting a gun. Some people, you have to learn how to do it, and some people are better at it than others. The skill of leadership tends to be much better in the Republican Party.
And where do you suppose Donald Trump was this morning?
Well, I don't know. He's probably telling the story to somebody over and over again. That's what I'd be doing.
He was on the golf course.
Was he really?
He was in his golf cart because he made tee time.
Well, there you go.
Mike Tyson Band-Aid on?
Well, probably so. He'll never have to worry about getting his ears pierced. But in a little defense of President Biden, and everybody was shocked that he was calling Trump Donald. He says, "I'm going to call Donald, and I'm going to see how he is." And he did. And they said it was a short conversation because they haven't spoken ever.
I'm sure.
And Biden did a very, very good speech today about how we have to end this vitriol. We have to stop this. We have to, figure out another way to get. But it's not one person doing it. It's the group. If they can't beat you, they're going to kill you.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing, I think we should probably play the commercials, and we got to double up on the commercials here and then come back.
That's okay.
But we absolutely, if there's what I think we're saying, and I think what we all agree is that this didn't just happen, and it does correctly prompt a discussion on the types of things that are being said in politics. And then it's coming from the Democratic Party. It's coming from the Democratic leadership tenfold over the right.
But you know what just makes my stomach turn is what you just said a few minutes ago.
What's that?
A family, 30 years old, comes to a diner with their kids and celebrating the fact that Trump could have been killed.
An example they're setting.
We're celebrating him getting an assassination.
Something I'd like to throw out there as well is how long do you think it's going to take for them to throw into the mix and to spin this against the AR?
Okay, let me throw this out there.
Yeah.
Not one, and I've watched way more of this than you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Not once since he's been shot have they mentioned an AR, an assault weapon.
Interesting.
They've been mentioned. Well, I know, but that's a big step because it's an assault weapon, right?
To them, yeah.
But it was always an AR rifle. They've said it.
Yeah, the closest thing I saw was they were talking about. One lady was asking an expert. He was a law enforcement expert, and she was saying, "Geez, it didn't really sound. Was it semi-automatic? Was it automatic? And what she was, at one point she commented on how fast the rounds were being fired, but what she was mistaking was that there was he got off a couple of rounds,
going both
and then
ways.
The snipers got off a couple. You know what I mean? And so it was all happening. But it was, it was. There's a lot of ignorance still, and that's definitely something that we got to work on as a community, the Second Amendment community. But hey, if that's a victory, I'll take it.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, hats off for not calling it, an assault weapon, which is what they normally do.
Well, we'll just wait though.
Well, yeah.
Tomorrow all the reporters
Be a new day.
are in their office.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, if you ever have legal matters that involve firearms, you need California's best firearms lawyer, and that means John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. So put his phone number on your phone right now, 760-642-7150. That's John Dillon's California firearms lawyer, 760-642-7150. Put his number on your phone right now. Hey, you want to learn how to fly?
Yeah.
Do you? You don't want to learn how to fly anymore?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
But after her.
Oh, after her?
I was reading a funny let me read you a quick
Well, let me
tweet.
finish my commercial. Then I want to make sure you can learn to fly.
Yeah.
So you need to get a pilot's license.
Yes.
So San Diego is one of the best places to get your pilot's license because pilots can fly almost every day. And San Diego Flight Training International is the best school to get your license. Give them a call today at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly with SDFTI. That's 858-569-1822. All right.
I don't know whose Twitter this is, so I'm not going to give them any credit, but this isn't me. I'm just reading it. He says, in all seriousness, I think Biden will be very shaken by these events. He's seen this happen before, from Reagan, 1981, to Kennedy, 1963, and, of course, Julius Caesar, 44 BC.
I do. It had to be a comedy, man.
All right. Why don't you introduce our guest?
All right. So our guest today is a gentleman in the duck hunting community. So if you are a hunter, you have an interest in hunting, or you think it may be something that you want to get into in the future, let's listen up. So we have a guest. His name is David Blackston, and he's here with us today. David, are you there?
Good afternoon, you guys. How are you doing?
Hey, David. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk about Barrett Lake waterfowl.
Absolutely. Cool. So David, give us a little bit of just a quick backstory of who you are and what your interest is in the hunting community, and then we'll kind of get into the lake itself.
All right. Well, I've been born and raised here in San Diego. I'm 61 years old now. Started hunting when I was 10 years old. Grew up in Chula Vista and Bonita and Proctor Valley area. And back then we had a lot of places to hunt. There's a lot less development. And over the years, mainly due to development and expansion, I've seen these places go away.
Mm-hmm.
And Barrett Lake, I just started duck hunting about 20 years ago. And there's been a couple lakes that San Diego City lakes that used to be open to hunting, and two of those have been shut down. So it was just a continuation of, the frustration and anger and of all this stuff going away that I love, and now Barrett's the only one left, and I just told myself, enough's enough. I'm gonna do what I can. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
So you're saying there's several lakes that have shut down that are no longer allowing the duck hunting. Now I'm curious, what is the reasoning and the logic? What's the argument they make behind making these closures and kind of ceasing the ability to duck hunt?
Well, there were three that you could hunt, and it was Otay Reservoir, Sutherland Reservoir, and then Barrett Reservoir.
Mm-hmm.
So Otay shut down. Once they built the Olympic Training Center out near the lake, and they started practicing, the rowing team started practicing on the lake. And I'm not saying that was the catalyst to the whole closure, but it was about that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they shut that down. I mean, depending on who you talk to, I've talked to some old timers, and they say that's exactly why. They didn't want people out there hunting while they were doing rowing practice. But, true or not, that got shut down. And then Sutherland mainly was just lack of participation. The city does not do anything to promote this hunt program. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a decline in use. That along with just the hunting culture is slowly shrinking every year in this region. That was kind of a combination of factors. So that's why Sutherland shut down, and now we have Barrett.
Where exactly is Barrett Lake?
Barrett is south of Alpine and east of Hamul. It's off of Lyons Valley Road.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of old timers would remember the Barrett Junction Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
That's near the lake on the southern side of the lake. Yeah.
You ever been out there duck hunting, Dave?
No, but I've been to Barrett Junction.
There you go. It's all about the food. All about the food. So I'm curious, David. So I imagine a lot of our listeners are likely to be hunters, but I imagine there's quite a few that are not, that have other interests in the firearms world. I'm curious, as far as the duck hunting perspective, what would be your catalyst? Why do you think that we all need to fight for this? Even if we're not lovers of hunting and that's not our thing, why should we support it? Why do we need to be there?
Well, if we don't do it personally, I think we have friends, we have family members, others in our circles that do enjoy this stuff. And this is just, if they shut this down, I mean, you can go back to other closures, and it was a prerequisite of another closure, and it was a prerequisite for another closure. This is for me, growing up this way, this is a quality of life issue for me. People ask me, who I am. I'm a father and a brother and all that, stuff. But I'm a hunter and I'm a fisherman, and that's to me is equally as important as all these other things that I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if people can wrap their head around that, what if they started taking things away of what you are?
Right.
You may not be a hunter or a fisherman. You may be a sports fanatic, and they start shutting down ball fields, and they start shutting whatever things that are important to you. So I think to the non-hunter, that would probably be the best way to look at it.
So
Well, I tell you what, David, I do an off-road show, and what they're doing to you, they're doing to us, and trying to kick us out of the desert. They don't want us at Glamis. They don't want us at Pismo Beach. They lie, they cheat, they steal. They come up with every excuse why they don't want us out in the open lands. Whether you're walking, riding a bike, or riding a side-by-side or a motorcycle. For whatever reason, they want to take everything away from us that's ours. They have no. In fact, half of them. I bet I would challenge any one of these people trying to, close that lake down to hit a duck. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like they fall out of the sky when you yell boo. I mean, it's hard to shoot a duck. I've been duck hunting and pheasant hunting and all that. I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen a duck laugh. I can't hit stupid things. So no, but you got to fight the fight. You just have to fight the fight. You can't let them push you guys around. And we partner with a lot of duck hunters up in the Central Valley. Along with the different other organizations within California that are fighting Sacramento to keep your ability to go fishing and hunting. I mean, goodness gracious. To me, it's a God-given right, and there's no reason why they should take it away.
Absolutely. So David, for people that want to help make a difference and want to kind of help support you to kind of keep this thing going in the right direction, how can they do that? How can they support?
Well, the main thing is, and this is hard because not everybody listening is a duck hunter, but, we buy the day use permit to hunt the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And if that money's coming in, then they're going to look elsewhere for their budget cuts. The narrative that I preach changes every year because, 2 years ago, it was slated for complete closure. The whole program, shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we dodged that bullet. And then now this year, it was talked about there was supposed to be $70,000 or $60,000 cut in the Public Utilities Department's budget, and they're the ones that manage this hunt program. And they were going to find out where they were going to make those cuts. I'm not going to say we dodged the bullet. We did a lot of grassroots campaigning to the mayor's office, telling them, to please look elsewhere. But this year they didn't make any cuts. So this season is going to be operational, but still next season, if we don't bring in the estimated amount of revenue, then they're going to look at it a little closer for cuts again. Mm. So to answer your question, we just need to buy these tickets and go hunting. And for the non-hunter, what I do when I go around, and I've been to a few of the gun owners' meetings, Michael's invited me to speak at some of those. I offer to take people hunting. If my schedule allows and you want to go, then I'll take you. It would be good if you bought a ticket, or if not, I'll buy a ticket.
How much are tickets?
It's $70.
Okay.
And the $70 gets you 2 hunters and a rowboat. It's funny about the rowboat because they also rent their motors. You can bring your motor, or you can rent their motor for another $45.
Or a couple of oars.
Yeah.
I'm oaring it. I'm not renting no motor.
So 115 for 2 hunters. And the amount of hunt areas, or the blinds, is dictated by the water level. This last year, the water level was high, so there was 18 blinds. I've seen it up to 22 blinds, and I've seen it down to 7 blinds.
And when does it start? What are the dates?
Duck season starts the 3rd Saturday in October. And for this, there's a pre-season in-person sign-up just to get your hunt dates for Barrett. And they haven't officially announced it yet, but we're thinking it's going to be on October 5th.
Okay.
Will you teach them how to honk a duck horn?
If they come hunting with me, or one of my buddies, they're going to be blowing on a duck call for sure.
See, that's where I do it.
That's it.
I think I'm trying to figure out, because I'll be honest, everyone that listens to this, even the ones that are like, hey, I got to do that, in the next segment, they're already a little forgotten. And so I'm trying to think of how, like, what if you write up an article that we can distribute saying, hey, here is step-by-step what to do.
You can break anytime.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you could do that? And then we distribute it. Like, if you just, hey, here are the 6 steps to go duck hunting this October. Would you be able to produce something like that? And I'll help you. We can edit it together. I don't know the steps, and then maybe why don't we start there, and just because I got to tell you, you gave a great talk at our meetings the last couple months, and then it was kind of like there was like I got a little, my head is like I lost some hair where I was scratching my head trying to figure out like, all right, what's the next step? Like we got to do something. But so what if you produce an email to me? And we'll edit it and get it all taken care of. Maybe we'll even make it into an official flyer, like a 6, 7, or 8 step or whatever list. Can you do that?
And put it on the website.
Sure.
Yeah. Put it on the website. We'll email it out. We'll put it out at every meeting in anticipation.
And Dave, here's what I'll do for you is don't be swiggling your finger. And here's what I'll do for you. Get my contact information from Rich. He's sitting right here. And then what I'll do is I'll donate to you an hour. You'll come into the studio. We'll talk about your program for an hour. Who, what, why, where, and a recap. Give it to you. Put it on a thumb drive. Put it on a CD. Put your logo on it. And start passing these things out anywhere and everywhere you go. If you want to do that,
that's great.
Rich will get you my contact info. And we're going to, because we all got to help each other together. Whether it's gun enthusiasts, duck hunters, fishermen, I don't care. Because we can't let any of these groups go by the wayside. Hey, if you want gear at an affordable price, check out Condor Outdoor. Whether you're a military professional, law enforcement officer, or simply an avid outdoorsman, Condor products are designed to be versatile, durable, and above all, reliable. So if you're looking for the best in tactical gear, look no further than Condor Outdoor. Use code GOR for a 15% discount off their website, condoroutdoor.com. Use code GOR for a 15% discount.
Big thanks to Mike White for donating,
Yeah.
and thanks for watching us and following us and listening to us in the chat.
I think it was
And
Michael White.
Michael White, Mike White, Mike White,
Mike White.
yeah.
Michael White?
Mike White.
Mike White.
And then big shout out to Jonathan White, right?
And I don't think they're related. Correct.
I don't think they're related.
That's right.
Yeah,
got it.
Jonathan White. For you saw him in class today, and he's a big fan of Gun
Is it his
Runners
brother?
Radio. So thank you so much for listening, you guys. You guys should get together, Mike and Jonathan White.
Mike and Jonathan.
Okay, the 2024 Republican platform drops gun rights promises. So this is off of The Reload, written by a guy named Jake Fogelman. And its first official platform since 2016, the Grand Old Party, GOP, slashed all mention of its gun policy positions. The Republican National Committee, RNC, platform committee voted 84 to 18 on Monday to adopt the new 2024 platform language after skipping the process entirely in 2020. The finalized document leans into former President Donald Trump's America First outlook and parrots many of his stances on issues ranging from immigration to trade. However, it also minimizes the party's emphasis on gun policy compared to its previous platform. The entire platform discusses gun rights just once in a preamble statement about the party's dedication to defending our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. The final product omits any discussion of tangible gun policy ideas. And this article goes on and on and on. I got to tell you guys, I probably get more criticism from Republicans when I criticize Republicans. Actually, I usually am criticizing the Republican Party. They think I'm criticizing Republicans. Then I get criticized over anything else. The anti-gunners don't criticize me as much as Republicans criticize me for daring to suggest that Republicans are flawed in any way.
Really?
But I got to tell you, here's another example. Here's yet another example. They are not here for your gun rights. You cannot rely on the Republican Party. You have to force them. You have to force them to care about the Second Amendment. And before San Diego County gun owners in San Diego, the Republicans didn't give a flip about gun rights, and they barely do now. Now, when I say the Republicans, I'm talking about the San Diego County Republican Party. I'm not talking about, I'm sure you'll be able to point to one or two Republicans that are in office, 3 or 4 Republicans that are in office now, and we've probably endorsed them. They're so good on guns. So, and I'm sure a lot of registered Republicans that aren't in office that are pro-Second Amendment. I know that for a fact. So it drives me crazy. You sound like a 4-year-old when I say the Republicans don't stand for the Second Amendment. You go, my buddy over here does. I'm not talking about your buddy. I'm not suggesting that just because you're a Republican, you never support the Second Amendment.
Is that where the shoe fits?
Right.
Is that what we're talking about?
If the shoe fits, however, and too often in the Central Committee, and if you don't know what the Central Committee is, for the Republican Party, then you really shouldn't have an opinion on the Republican Party because you don't know what you're talking about. But the Central Committee runs the Republican Party in San Diego. Now, I got to tell you, whether this is the national Republican Party, and then there's a state Republican Party, and then there's each county has its own Republican Party. And they're 3 completely different entities. They agree with each other, but they're totally different entities. They're as different as,
night and day.
Night and day. They're as different as McDonald's and Burger King. They're different entities, so they can do what they want. They're different tax codes and everything. But still, it's and the reality is the Republicans don't enforce their platform. And I don't remember a time when they ever have. And the problem is they come out and they say, hey, vote for us because, and they kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and, make a kind of a veiled reference to their platform. But that's not what they do. They don't enforce their platform. If you're a Republican that will raise taxes and open the border and, are pro-choice and are anti-gun, if you get enough votes, you're a Republican.
When's the last time you heard their platform?
Well, I'm kind of hyper-focused on their platform, so I hear about this all the time.
But see, I never hear about their platform.
Well, yeah, but they do this drill, and then they just never address it again. But I think they need to start enforcing their platform. That's why I'm hyper-focused on it.
Well, I agree with that across the board.
I don't care how many votes if somebody comes in front of them and says, hey, I disagree with 50% of your platform, but I know I can win, and they go, yeah, we think you can win too, and you'll have an R in front of your name, get out of here. It has to mean something. Or they need to stop pretending it does. And I think that there's a huge place in this day and age. If you care about issues, if you're just on Team R, fine. Just okay.
Because you don't want to be on Team D.
Yeah, you don't want to be on Team D. Okay, fine. But don't pretend like they stand for something. Truly, if you're in care about issues, I don't think you should be supporting an individual party. You should probably pick 3, maybe 4 individual groups, your top 3 or 4 issues, and just get involved with them.
I'm a people guy.
But in 2016, you sure are. You are a people guy. In 2016, let me read you some of the quotes from their platform. We support firearm reciprocity legislation to recognize the right of law-abiding Americans to carry firearms to protect themselves and their families in all 50 states. That's what they took out of their platform.
Just doing the math. That was just 8 years ago.
Yeah. And they took this out.
Why?
Not only did they take it out, but listen to that sentence is full of real policy and opinion. It's a direct hey, this is what we actually want to do. And oh, by the way, when they had the opportunity to pass reciprocity, they didn't. They didn't. It was actually a written bill, and then they said, I'm not going to do that. We mealy-mouthed their way out of it. Let me read it one more time. We support firearm reciprocity legislation to recognize the right of law-abiding Americans to carry firearms to protect themselves and their families in all 50 states.
And they removed it.
Gone. We oppose ill-conceived laws that would restrict magazine capacity or ban the sale of the most popular and common modern rifle. We also oppose any effort to deprive individuals of their right to keep and bear arms without due process of law. That's a red flag statement.
And they threw that out.
Out. Gone. We condemn frivolous lawsuits against gun manufacturers and the current administration's illegal harassment of firearms dealers. We oppose federal licensing or registration of law-abiding gun owners, registration of ammunition, and restoration of the ill-fated Clinton gun ban. That is what they got rid of. So what I'm telling you, when you listen to me go, Mike's going off on the Republican Party, we have a chance to make the Republican Party truly Second Amendment. But we can't do it if we keep pretending like they care right now.
Well,
we need
hard
to make
them a Second Amendment if they keep throwing everything out the door.
They're throwing everything. It just did. They just threw everything out the door. Gone.
And nobody questioned them on it.
Well, I'm sure they got some
Outside
pushback, but not enough. It passed. That's their. So I'm with you. The Republican is, like I've been saying, nothing more than the second worst party on guns. That's all they are. Anyway.
Wow.
Goes back to your statement you made earlier about how the Democratic Party is leaving the people. Well, we're seeing it on the other side, too.
What are we going to have left?
San Diego County gun owners.
There you go. Lock and load. Hey, if you're a gun owner and you need legal protection, even if you do everything right, even if you're 100% justified, you should be prepared for the legal battle in your self-defense battle. That's why you need firearms legal protection. When you join, you get uncapped legal protection for self-defense for civil or criminal cases with a 24/7 hotline. Joining is easy. Just go to firearmslegal.com, click on Become a Member, use code GOR for a discount. Enjoy the peace of mind that you are protected if you are ever involved in a self-defense incident. Firearmslegal.com and use discount code GOR. And for all you folks watching online, Alicia is just doing a mild manicure. It is a pretty gnarly knife to be doing.
It's always the most appropriate time.
Well, yeah, look at the size of that cannon.
Jeez.
All
right. Subscribe and win. Subscribe to our email list and win some swag. This week's winner is Tapash Sinha. That's Tapash Sinha. All you got to do, congratulations, first off, all you got to do is email us at prizes@gunownersradio.com and tell us if you want a hat or a T-shirt. And if you want a T-shirt, let us know what size, and we'll get that to you. Congratulations. So just go to our website, rather, gunowners.com, gunownersradio. Yeah, gunownersradio.com, and sign up for our newsletter, and you might win some cool stuff from Rich.
Coolios.
Lead Talks. So tomorrow is so what we started doing is every Monday at 7 p.m. we live stream a lecture from a firearms instructor who's usually from San Diego, Riverside, San Bernardino, or Orange County. And we stream it over the Facebook page, the Gun Owners Radio Facebook page. Do we put it on YouTube, or we're not sure yet? No. It's on, yeah, we're not sure yet. So check it out. It's an opportunity to hear about a 25, maybe 30-minute lecture by a local firearms instructor. It's really, really boiled down, man. I mean, it's like, here's who the person is. Boom, go ahead and talk. Tomorrow's Phil from Sure Shot. He's been on the show a couple times, and real interesting guy. He had a career in the Marine Corps, and now he's an instructor, has a virtual firearms training facility in Oceanside. Anyway, so check us out. All you got to do is sign on to our Facebook page, Gun Owners Radio. So it's facebook.com/Gun Owners Radio tomorrow at 7 p.m. and join the fun.
It's free to learn.
It is. It's free to learn. How to clean your guns. How to clean your guns gun class. Is
there a limit on how many people you're going to bring in?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think it's only limited by like the size of the place. We're not at limit. We'll fit you in.
Okay.
But the fee that you guys the fee that's collected is the value that you're getting of the cleaning kit alone is going to be beyond what you're paying.
Right.
You're basically buying a cleaning kit and getting a free class.
That's it.
Right.
Oh, so we're giving away a gun rug at the class. Remember the gun rug?
That's exciting.
Is that the one you have?
That's the one I have.
You're going to give it away?
I'm not giving mine.
Not the one she has, but the type that she has.
That's it.
Not the exact. She's going to sign
You
it.
see her get all testy?
I know.
Yeah.
From her cold, dead hands.
That's
Put
right.
my knife print on it.
From her cold, hoppies-covered hands.
Yeah.
One student will get to take home a brand new, unused gun rug. It's at American Shooters in El Cajon. It's hosted by Seal One, our buddies Seal One. They're such a great organization, a great company, and a wonderful product. So buy some Seal One. Clean all your guns with Seal One from here on out. Bring your unloaded and secured firearm to the class. Attendees will get a Seal One cleaning kit, which is a $40 value. The cost of the class is $40. It's only $30 if you're an SDCGO member. All you do is use code SDCGO2A, and you sign up at gunownersradio.com. So I guess he's going to limit it, Dave. So you better get there quick. Go to gunownersradio.com.
And you don't want to be hauling your big gun down there and not be able to clean it.
Unregistered. I mean you, not the gun.
And if you can't take it apart, Alicia will be there to show you.
That's right.
I'll fix you right up.
You and your rug.
Could you do that? Do you have the
Capacity?
Like the skeleton key of gun field stripping.
Do you have the confidence to say that you can field strip any gun put in front of you?
I would like to say yes. However, I imagine there's going to be a challenge at some point. If you think about it, there's generally like 4 different ways guns come apart. If it's not one, it's going to be one of the other 3.
That's
And
true.
you know those 4?
I do.
So unless somebody brings you some off the wall.
Yeah, there's going to be some. There are. If it's something older, something unique, something rare, that potentially could be.
So if you
a little
want
bit
to
different.
stump
Something borrowed.
Alicia,
I will admit the one that stumped me that I had to look up is the GSG came out with a 1911 chambered in 22. It looks like it looks pretty straightforward, looks pretty simple. You go to take it apart, darn thing doesn't come apart, slide doesn't come off. There's actually a pin and there's a screw you have to pop out, which it looks like just a
you have
normal
to find
pin.
that pin and the screw.
You have to kind of know where it's at, which one to tap out, because it looks like your traditional pin that's just part of your trigger assembly and what holds it in that you don't need to remove to take your slide off. Well, no, there's one that you have to actually pop out and unscrew and you got to take out.
But you figured it out.
YouTube helped me out.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
everybody,
YouTube is a great tool.
YouTube, everybody has a YouTube on their
YouTube
phone.
is a great resource.
I had to look at first time I did that. My dad has, I inherited, pre-inherited a nylon 66, which was an old 22, semi-automatic 22, and we had no idea how to take it apart. And I thought, well, I wonder if this is on this new thing called YouTube. That's how far back that was.
The YouTube?
The YouTubes.
Was it on there?
It was on there. Yeah, we had.
That's it.
There were 2 or 3 guys that were like, "All right, look, we know this is tricky, so we're going to show you how to do it."
Did you
Sam,
do it?
Sam, my nephew now,
Did you do it?
Pre-inherited that. Yeah, we
Did
took
you
it
put
apart.
it back together?
Yeah, put
Did
it back
it shoot?
together. Yeah,
I'm impressed.
yeah.
All the springs were attached.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Have any extra parts?
Most of them. Most of them did.
You had to buy a couple.
But yeah, YouTube is really good at that. I hate it though. YouTube's like, all right, you look at it and you're like, all right, that's a 4-minute video. So I can take this thing apart and put it back together in 4 minutes.
No.
No
Way.
He can. I can't.
Yeah.
With my big friggin' paws too. By the way, check out my watch.
Is that another new one?
It tells time.
It's a new old one given to me by a friend. It's an old Seiko given to me by a
Yeah.
friend who's a member who does so many things for us, and he doesn't like me to say his name on.
And he was nice enough to gift you that?
He did. It's a nice automatic Seiko. Isn't that
Well,
cool?
this one's
like it.
even better. I don't
Hey,
know.
that one tells time
That
too,
was
Dave.
gifted
That
to
was
me.
gifted to you,
It,
too.
it tells time.
You know, and he complained that you can't see it at night. I have never run into that.
Maybe it's my eyes.
Could be. You don't have your glasses on today.
No. I got to get a new pair.
Well, what happened to those
I don't-
little scrunchers that you
I don't
had?
want to talk. Oh, I have the scrunchers. I have those.
Now you got to talk about it.
Oh, not those.
Now you,
Oh, well,
talking
Ben
about?
Franklin.
Yeah.
Now, see, that looks better than the scrunchers you had on.
The only thing is these are a little small on my nose. So
Well, it wasn't as small as the ones
so
you had on you.
those you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Those are scrunchies.
My grandmother's.
Yeah.
I can't find little. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get
You see
into
how
it.
easy he is to drift?
Oh, jeez.
We could drift this guy all over the place.
Okay, one last thing before we go to commercials. You know, this actually does help. Thanks for pointing this out.
Think of that. Well, don't squint. You get crow's feet.
Join us at the monthly meetings in North County Shooting Center on Tuesday. Who, by the way, Laura Bassett, who's running for Oceanside
Oh, yeah?
City Council, she's going to be there.
You're going to be there?
Yeah. So that's this Tuesday, North County Shooting Center with Elliot. Discount Gun Mart on Wednesday with John Baldwin. And then Labella's on Thursday with Matthias. Matthias Quallenberg actually signed up to be a meeting leader. So very important meetings. We are going to have, we don't have our voter guide yet, but we will have it by the end of the month. But we need you to come to the meeting because there's a lot to do in August, September, and October. The only thing you can't get more of in an election season is time. You can get more money, you can get more people, you can get more ideas. You can't get more time. So we only have August, September, and October to really move the needle. So we need you to come to these meetings this month and August and September and so on. But give us a try this month. So that's this week, Tuesday, North County Shooting Center. I think our next guest is actually going to be there too. Are you going to be there on Tuesday? I'll be there Tuesday. He'll be there
There
Tuesday.
you go.
So
You'll be there Tuesday.
there you go. That's a good lead into our next guest. Who is our next guest?
We
Well,
don't
You're
know.
going to have to wait and see.
Just some guy walked in.
Yeah, some dude.
Some guy will be there on Tuesday.
Sat down, started
was-
unloading all his gear. I
He
go,
was,
okay,
yeah.
must be a friend.
Well, we caught him out in the hall. He was mopping. And we're
Yeah.
like, hey, man, what are you?
Hey, you want to talk guns? Come on in.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe we can get you into the Carlsbad City Council.
Go to
They could
clean
use-
up the place.
They could use a guy with a broom.
So go to SDCGO.org and check out. That's where all the meetings are. But it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, North County Shooting Center, Discount Gun Mart on Marina, and then Labella's, who has the best pizza of all three, on Thursday.
Even better than sauce.
Ooh, it's a good question. I might get the pizza from Sauced on Wednesday.
See?
Ooh, yeah, I might do that.
Hey, Not Me is for women, by women, and is designed to help women with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. And if you're a woman or you know a woman who needs help, have her sign up and we'll give her the help she needs. To sign up, just go to notmesd.org. Hey, we got a special guest in the house.
We do. It's I don't know if you heard, but every 2 years we do this thing called elections. And this November is a fairly important election. And as you know, San Diego County gun owners, we focus on city and county and school, all these local boards and councils that really, truly have an effect on your everyday life. There's so much focus on the White House. There's so much focus on Congress. I'm not saying it's not important, but man, you can move mountains on the local level. And the decisions that they make every single day have a direct impact on your life. Whereas I just don't think you can say that all the time, or certainly not to the extent in federal. And we've moved mountains, man. We've made real things happen because of the influence on local politics. So we're having some folks come in to talk about their race. And today, in the city of Carlsbad, 110. I should have quizzed him. I should have quizzed you to see if you knew what the population of Carlsbad was. But anyway, we have a fantastic San Diego County gun owners member who is running for office for city council of the beautiful city of Carlsbad, Mr. Tyler Collins. How are you, man?
Great. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah. Did you not? Be honest. Did you know there were 110,000 people in Carlsbad?
I did.
Okay. All right. I believe.
Shook hands with every one of them.
Kissed all the babies.
That's right.
And there are 5 city council members.
There's 5 city council members and a total of 4 districts.
Gotcha. So the mayor runs at large.
Exactly.
So talk about. So you're running for District
2, numero dos.
Talk about District 2. What's District 2 look like? First, talk about Carlsbad. Like, give us a picture. We all kind of think we know what Carlsbad is and looks like and what the demographics are.
Yeah.
But talk about what Carlsbad looks like, and then talk about what your district looks like.
Sure, certainly. So Carlsbad has had a conservative majority for decades. Everyone I talked to, they said, we've had this, we've enjoyed, as a lot of places in North County have, a solid bastion of people who value the Second Amendment. And right now, so as you said, it's a population of 110,000. We have an interesting situation in this year. The incumbent was actually appointed. So when the mayor from District 2, who used to be a council member, became the mayor, then someone had to be appointed to that seat. So her name is Carolyn Luna. So she's terming out in this November. And so that's why this is an open seat. And that's why this is a really important race, because this is up for grabs. It could be me or a progressive or any number of people. So that is what's going on.
And the mayor, Keith Blackburn, is an outstanding San Diego County Gun Owners member. That dude is wonderful. He was there like within months when we formed San Diego County Gun Owners. He joined San Diego County Gun Owners as a 10-ring member and has been ever since. And he goes to gun prom, even though he doesn't like leaving the city of Carlsbad. He doesn't like leaving.
That way we're going up to Carlsbad?
Yeah, so I'm bringing it to him. No.
Hey, what is
Wonderful
District
guy.
2? Where are you at?
District 2 is the northeast quadrant.
Okay.
So you kind of go, if you're going east on Carlsbad Village,
Right.
once you pass El Camino, that's the dividing line. You're going into like deep Carlsbad then.
Okay, so you're in deep?
Deep, yeah, exactly. I'm in deep. Yeah.
Okay, so you're on the other side of El Camino.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what was the catalyst? What made you run?
What made me run? So I was actually supporting the conservative candidate, Mo Mir, who was running. Mm-hmm. Unexpectedly, around 3 weeks ago, she dropped out. I had consulted with several different council members, what are the conservatives thinking? Because we got the Democrats, they're running people. So what are the conservatives thinking? And they were like, we don't know. We have no one. So I said, dang it, I'm stepping up.
I'm not doing anything on Thursday.
That's right. I'm not busy Thursday. Why
Come
not
on,
just
I could do this.
just file some forms?
It's your first time running for office.
This is the first time running for office. Yes.
Congratulations, and thank you for stepping up. I think that's
He
absolutely
must have been
outstanding.
listening to you.
I don't know if he's
Because
listening.
you
I don't.
constantly tell people, don't complain, get involved.
I do, but I don't think that's where you got the idea.
I
This
think
guy,
you did.
you've been involved in other things too.
I have. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Go for it.
Great.
Do you want to talk about it?
It's your show.
Yeah, we can talk about
Go
it.
for it. Tell us where you came from politically.
Yes. So I have been involved with the San Diego Libertarian Party. So I actually was the former chair. Actually, during my chairship, I played a very important role in getting us to be a core sponsor of the San Diego Gun Show.
Yeah.
We were the headliner for the Red Dawn movie night, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
So,
Wolverines.
yeah, a Second Amendment, that's a big core position of when I'm no longer involved with the Libertarian Party. But when I was involved with the Libertarian Party in San Diego, that was a big plank of ours, and a lot of our members, care very deeply about that, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, libertarians, they are the best political party when it comes to the Second Amendment.
Yeah, and he doesn't say that about any other party, I'm here to tell you.
We just need to get one of them elected somewhere. That's the only problem. Like, they're all sitting on their couch saying, hey, we love the Second Amendment, which is great.
Okay, so now you decided to dive into this swimming pool.
Exactly. So I've dove into this swimming pool. So we're off to the races. We got a bunch of campaign people filled out. We got consultants, treasurer. Actually, I just hired a fundraiser today, looking for a campaign manager, but all the wheels are in motion. Mm-hmm. We're getting things going. So, yeah, running the numbers. I think this is a solid race. This district has been held by a conservative. As I've said, the city overall has been held for decades by conservatives, but in particular, this district. So it's really important, especially now that we keep this, with someone who values the Second Amendment. We can go into this a little bit later, but
Well, let's talk. What are your priorities? Like, okay, Second Amendment, and honestly, it's kind of limited as to what a city council member can do, can initiate, when it comes to the Second Amendment. But when we need you, you got to be there, and I'm confident you will be there, no question. But what are some of your other priorities? Like, what do you want Carlsbad to look like, or what are some of the things you want to tackle as a city council member when you win?
yeah, sure. So my slogan overall would be keep Carlsbad, Carlsbad. And so that has 4 main planks. So 1, keep Carlsbad safe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's public safety, ensuring the police are properly funded and that we maintain, the safe standard of living we're all used to.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is keep our quality of life. So that refers to city services operating properly and smoothly, parks being maintained, roads being maintained. Number 3, keep Carlsbad, Carlsbad, which is the campaign slogan. So that means preserving the character of Carlsbad that so many people hold near and dear to their heart. I grew up in Newport Beach, and Carlsbad reminds me in many ways of what Newport Beach was 20 years ago. So for my wife and I and my family, it holds a special place to us. And then so number 4, the 4th plank here, is keep taxes down. So fiscal responsibility. I'm a big Milton Friedman guy. If we are going to have taxes, I want to ensure that that's spent effectively and efficiently to provide the best return for the taxpayer.
I got good. I have one. I don't know if this is a separate plank, but maybe it's a part of keeping Carlsbad. Tip Top Meats.
Tip Top, we got to keep that.
We got to save them.
How are you going to?
How are you going to save
Tip
Top
they're
Meats?
leaving.
I know it's.
So you got okay. That's your main goal.
That's going to be exactly.
Do you have any idea what they are going to do? I think they got to move.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know or haven't you?
That's not in his district.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I really should get more clued into the Tip Top Meats situation here.
Yeah, I heard their rent tripled, and now they're looking to they got to find something. So hopefully they can stay.
Hopefully they can relocate, maybe into District 2.
Yeah, could be.
Or move into my
Invite 'em
living
in.
room. Maybe we can move them into my living room.
I like
That's
that.
right. I'll be business friendly, so Tip Top Meats open up shop down the road, so easy, convenient.
There you go.
So you're from Newport originally?
Yes, I grew up in Newport Beach.
What made you move?
So, kind of to summarize that whole thing, I grew up in Southern California. I went to school in Southern California.
Where'd you go to school?
USC.
Oh,
I
wow.
got
I've heard of it.
Undergraduate degree in industrial and systems engineering and a graduate degree in data science. So I work as a software engineer. That's
Holy
my,
cow!
day
That's
job.
He can work on your computer.
That's right.
that's a real degree.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
You know what I mean? Like that's not basket weaving, my friend.
No, it's not underwater basket weaving.
Are you sure you're not too smart to run for office?
It's funny. Some people say sometimes you got to dial down the engineer. So I don't know. Gotta loosen
What was
up a
it
little.
like? In all seriousness, what was it like going to USC and taking such a heavy load? I mean, that's a big class. Like, what's it like?
Well, I think better than some other schools in terms of that balance.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I mean, USC is a fun school. I think all
absolutely.
you guys know that.
Yeah.
I mean, game day, tailgating.
Ah,
So
jeez.
no matter what major you are, whether that's underwater basket weaving or engineering, everyone there has fun. So,
Yeah. It's a big school. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you.
You should be very proud of that. So then after USC, how'd you end up in Carlsbad?
Yeah, so I met my wife. I was doing an internship down here in San Diego, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a chemist by trade. So
Goodness, your kids are going to be like
Whipping smart.
Yeah.
So
All right.
anyway, so
and
she's
then
a
again,
smart
maybe
one,
not.
actually.
Yeah. So
She was working on. She was getting her PhD actually, so I joke with everyone that she's really the smarty. I'm the dumb one in a relationship.
Always go with that. It's always
Exactly.
a win. Trust me.
wow.
I'm curious, what was her response when you decided? And did you tell her first, or did you just commit to this running and then be, hey, honey, by the way, I'm gonna?
No,
run?
we're very open in our
Didn't
communication.
do this on your own. You wouldn't. What? You've been dropped when you were a
You
child.
never know.
I don't know if this would stay on my hand too much
Yeah,
longer.
you
if
might
I,
lose a finger out
We did just celebrate our 2-year anniversary a couple days ago. So
Congratulations.
because
Yeah,
it does
thank you.
take a family to do what you're doing, even at that level.
it does.
You know,
Yeah.
people don't understand it. People, if they get into politics, that's one of the main things you have to
Yeah.
think about. But you also think about the future.
Yes.
And the only way
Yeah.
you're going to make the future what you want it to be is get involved, right?
That's right.
That's right.
That's what you always say.
Do something for God's sake.
I know.
Well, that's awesome. What do you think the key is going to be to your success?
Well, he's going to stay with us one more segment.
Oh yeah, we're going. Okay, let's do a.
Yeah, so let's pay a bill or two.
Yeah.
Hey, do you belong to an association, a club, or maybe
Organization?
organization? Well, I got
or a club.
or maybe an association.
I had a club sandwich for lunch.
Was it good?
It was delicious.
Did you bring me?
Studio Diner?
Did you? Oh, isn't that the best?
Their over easy egg and avocado on their club sandwich. Oh my god!
I always
did
get the boob
what?
sandwich. That's mine.
That's good too.
You don't put a slimy egg on a.
Not over easy. Over medium.
It's
like an over.
I don't want any runny on there.
Nah, it wasn't all that runny. I wouldn't mind runny. You don't like runny?
Well, no.
That's what
especially
the bread's
that white
for. It soaks up the egg.
See
that white stuff. That white.
That's
slimy
why we're
stuff
supporting
on
this guy because he knows.
You know they're going to rename if they over easy. It's going to be the Huck Tui sandwich.
See, exactly. By the way, are you wrestling with your marketing? Sorry, Sage Tree. Most organizations waste a lot of money on marketing because it's so tough managing everything. The website, social media, e-commerce, email, and the list goes on. Well, throw that frustration out the door. Get a hold of Sage Tree's fractional marketing department. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
They will take care of everything. You can go golfing. They'll plan everything. They'll develop it, advertise it, keep you in the loop, make sure you're happy. And getting started is real easy. Just go to sagetree.com, click on that schedule an appointment button. That's sagetree.com, and click on the schedule an appointment button 24 hours a day. No, I'm only kidding. I made up the 24 hours a day. He's just sitting here.
You can call him 24 hours a day, but
would he answer?
you're only getting an answer about 16 hours a day.
I heard it was between 10 and 4.
Well, maybe.
Okay, well, we'll check.
Okay, so we're talking to Tyler Collins he's running for Carlsbad City Council. Okay, you know what? I want to get into I don't want to do the usual stuff. Like you're going to need volunteers, you're going to need money, go to his website and donate, all the usual stuff.
Yep.
I want to talk about what makes you tick, man. Talk about like what are you passionate about when it comes to, government? Why do you care about politics, man? You got a great wife, you have an awesome job, you're
Why would I throw myself in the fray?
Well,
Yeah, why would you do that?
Not just running for office, but why even have an interest? Because you've had an interest in politics for years.
Yes.
What's going on there? Why be interested in that?
And can I throw in, what makes you think you can make a difference?
Yeah. Great questions. So I'll start with why I'm interested in politics. So I talked a little bit about where I grew up, Newport Beach. So born and raised in Southern California. I kind of romanticize, my childhood in terms of it was a really wonderful time, I think, to grow up. And talking, I'll hear stories about my mom and when she was, working in her like early 20s. And back then, Newport Beach was a place that you could afford to be. She was, a nurse, and she had a nice apartment with a couple of friends, nurse buddies, and just the way
When are we talking? How old are you? Do you want me
So
asking?
I'm 31.
Okay. So
Yeah.
mom's probably 25 years older or so.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she was. So mom was. This would have been like the 90s, early 90s. Mom was.
So I was born in 93, so this would have been like the 80s.
In the late 80s.
Yeah.
80s. Okay. All right. Go ahead. So
Exactly.
mom's in Newport in the 80s, and on a nurse's salary, she could afford to live in Newport.
Yeah, she had like a nice apartment, like 10-minute walk from the beach.
Wow.
So obviously things have changed with the housing market and cost of living overall. So why am I interested in politics and why am I telling this story? I'm telling this story because in many ways, that vision of what could be for someone like that, a normal American in California, in many ways doesn't exist anymore, or is disappearing. And so, my wife and I, we have our careers, set to a certain degree. But
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
no worries. But I think what really makes me passionate and makes me happy would be able to try and do my small part to make Southern California a place where we can bring back some of that American dream, back some of that, making this more of a reality that people can do this. This is cost of living stuff, housing costs. And so that all goes down to policy.
Well, that's true. And I got to tell you, man, I've definitely noticed it in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Eating out is enormously expensive. The grocery store is enormously expensive. Rent is crazy.
Yeah.
I got to
Don't
tell
forget
you,
gas.
gas is crazy. I got to tell you, if you are, if you're right out of college, you're 22 years old, and you're gonna just want to go rent your own place, $3,000? I don't think you're getting a place in San Diego County for less than $3,000.
Yeah.
With 10 roommates, maybe.
Well, how are you going to afford $3,000? You know, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Like how can, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, one city council seat in one city in one county of one state, you know, I'm not saying how are you in that position going to change the entire world, but you personally, Tyler, like, what do you think needs to happen? Like, what do we do here? Not just your city council position, but you know, as a human race.
Yeah. So I think a lot of the problem goes back to decisions that were made in the 60s and 70s with the Democrat supermajority of California. CEQA in particular may have been well-intentioned, but it has really driven up the cost of any sort of development anywhere. This applies to like anything. If you want to build housing, you want to build commercial development. So let's say you wanted to build a new housing tract somewhere out in East County. Due to the litany of state laws and regulations, and assuming you even get certain permissions from the county, it's just so difficult and so costly compared to other states in terms of building. I'm saying compared to Texas or Florida. And what I would like to see happen is for the regulations that do exist, how can we streamline those or reduce the costs of permitting and things like that? Because every additional dollar that you're putting on some kind of permitting fee is a dollar that the end consumer is going to end up paying.
Yeah, there's I think it's BIA puts out a report. I don't know if they quite do it every year, but they basically show you like, hey, if you have a $500,000 house, if you buy a $500,000, of course, how are you going to buy a $500,000 house anymore?
Yeah, with 7.5% mortgage, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So let's say you buy $1 million house new. Here's how much of it is due to what you just described.
Yep.
It's not the building materials. Wood isn't more expensive in California.
Well, it is more expensive after 2020. You had all the lumber price shocks. And I mean, I went out and bought some cedar planks for like a garden thing. And I was talking to the guy, and it's still really high. It's not as high as it was. I'm talking about the raw building materials.
Right.
Not as high as it was during the COVID spike, but it's still like double what it was.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is like a nail isn't significantly more. A nail's a nail. Whether you buy a nail in Arizona or Oklahoma or California.
Yeah, these are commodities that can be shipped, relatively cheaply compared to the cost of the goods.
It's the government policies that have been put in place. That's what makes your house $1 million home.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. What else do you think? I mean, what about non-economics? Like culturally, I think that it's pretty significant. There's been a pretty significant change over the last 20 years in American culture. And I think we can talk about like what do we do to change it or what do we do to improve it without defining it and like, this and that and this person says this and women are this way and men are that way. I don't think we have to define it, but what do you think if you could wave a magic wand or lead a movement, like how would you improve American culture?
I think we need to get back to a spirit of self-reliance. And perhaps that was, an idealized thing, and maybe we never truly had that, as, the American founders might have envisioned. But certainly I think, especially you look at like Gen Z, you take surveys of what is their optimism for the future? What is their vision of what their life could be? I think it's no coincidence between leftist ideology becoming a preponderance among this contingent of the youth and a certain degree of economic hopelessness. I think they're entwined. If you see your outlook
2 minutes
is
2 minutes.
bleak, why would you have any sort of you just all right, I'm never going to achieve anything. I just want the government to give me something.
Right.
So I think we need to get back to giving young people in particular some hope for the future. I think only with hope for the future, then people can say, well, I can accomplish something. I'm going to rely on myself and get back to that self-reliance, which I believe is so core to the American spirit. If you don't believe you'll ever economically be able to support a family, why value the family unit? There's so many things, I think, which are core to our or were core to our culture, which for many people they just see as unattainable. And why value something you can't attain? So they go off into these other alternative moral frames, which I think is unhealthy as a society, in particular leftist framing.
I wish there was a way we could position happiness as only being the result of accomplishment. You know, where right now people want to skip the accomplishment part. No, I just want to be happy. You know, I'm just going to do things that make me happy. No,
1 minute?
happiness
1
is
minute?
the result of an accomplishment. I don't know how do we retrain an entire society to do that? But anyway,
I feel like you have examples with Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs. He has, he does his part training. I think he has like scholarships for kids, like to go to trade school, and hard work and accomplishment. That's like a core value of his, and part of when you go there, that's you're training and learning that. I think it's the organizations. We have to build back the community character.
I thought you were about to say build back better. I was going to throw you right out.
No, not
studio.
build back better.
I was going to throw you right out, Tyler.
And we don't even have a window.
All right, my friend. Extremely interesting. I knew you'd be an interesting interview. I know that you're an experienced and thoughtful person, and I appreciate that. I think we need more of that in politics, as long as it's accompanied by action, which I've seen from you. There are too many people that either just act and don't think, or they just pontificate and don't act. And I think that you're a great combination of both. So, do you have a website?
I do. CollinsForCarlsbad.com. It's pretty easy. You got C for C. And
There you
the campaign is Collins for Carlsbad City Council 2024.
Perfect.
FPPC number pending.
We're going to keep him around to read the question.
Yeah, you're going to read.
You're
we'll tell you about the next
this next segment. You listen to the show?
I do.
Yeah, Stump My
Sam
Nephew.
the Gunman?
Oh, Sam the Gunman.
Oh, yeah. So you're on the hot seat.
All right.
Yeah, you
So we'll have to
read
give
the
it to
question.
you so you can read it. Hey, have you been keeping your guns nice and clean and lubricated the way you should?
No.
Probably not. So if you've been a procrastinator and cleaning your guns and your traditional products is smelly and pain and you know what, then you should try Seal One, and we got a deal for you. Seal One is an all-in-one product that cleans, lubricates, and protects your firearm. Clean your guns faster, easier, safer with Seal One. No more smelling like gas. Enjoy the confidence and peace of mind of knowing your guns are protected with the best. Buy some now at seal1.com or come to our gun cleaning show on the 20th.
Yeah, out at American Shooters.
You'll have the best time, and you'll
go to the
come
website.
away
Yep.
squeaky clean.
Well, your gun will.
Well, your fingers will too, because
One of our listeners, probably listening right now, one of our listeners had the suggestion of he wants somebody to start a mobile gun cleaning company. So they come to your house,
So like a mobile car cleaning?
like
gun
mobile
cleaning?
car cleaning or mobile knife sharpening.
It's not a bad idea.
I know, right? The only thing is the money.
Oh, there are people to pay top dollar to not have to do it themselves.
All right, what, to
I-
sharpen a knife?
I'm one of those people.
No, cleaning
to
guns.
Clean a gun.
Clean
I thought you
guns.
said something about sharpening knives.
So
'cause I
they-
tell
No,
you,
we can do that too.
there's nobody out there that can sharpen a knife.
They'd pull up in their Ram ProMaster and have all the stuff in the back and clean your guns. Okay. All right. Anyway, if you're interested in that, email us and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Honestly, if you're listening and you're interested in that, email info@gunownersradio.com and tell us, yes, you'd be interested in that, and here's how much you'd pay per gun. Because we really, really seriously want to see if it's a viable option. Because I think it might be, is kind of my analysis. Okay, sponsored by Seal One, Stump My Nephews. First off, thank you so much, Seal One. You guys are wonderful. If you haven't bought Seal One by now, buy some Seal One. Next time you go into your favorite gun shop, ask them if they carry it, and if they don't, say why. So, Seal One. Stump My Nephew, it's everybody's favorite segment. If you send us a question that has to do with guns and we use it on the air, we'll send you a hat or a shirt. And if you stump my nephew, then you'll get gun prom tickets, which is very, very cool. So, Tyler, you're our guest, and you're going to ask the question. First off, you there, Sam?
Yep. How are you guys?
Good, man. Good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks
okay.
for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Tyler, go for it.
All righty. So the question is, what made Heckler Koch G11 significant, and why was it never adopted as a standard military rifle?
And it
And
comes
that's
from
Carlos from
Carlos from Ontario.
Ontario,
All
Canada.
right. Carlos from Ontario, Canada.
California, I'm sorry.
California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, CA still. Carlos
Very
from
good.
Ontario, California. Why was the G11 significant, and why was it not adopted? So this is one of those really open-ended questions that are sort of easy but kind of fun. The H&K G11 is, now here's an interesting combination of terms. caseless bullpup hyperburst assault rifle. So let me break that down for you. It was a prototype long arm developed by H&K out of Germany in the 80s. I think the genesis of the program was in the late 70s, but it really was developed mainly during the 1980s. The idea being that it would replace the G3 in Bundeswehr service in at the time the West German Army, and it was also submitted to the U.S. ACR trials. It fired a proprietary caseless round, so the part of the idea was to save a lot of weight by excluding any type of brass casing or steel casing. It was just a solid block of propellant with a bullet embedded inside, top loaded from 45-round magazines that inserted parallel to the barrel, but over it. It came with 3 fire modes, semi-automatic, fully automatic at a cyclic rate of around 450 rounds per minute, or 3-round burst at a blistering 2,100 rounds per minute.
Jeez.
The idea there was that the shooter would be able to discharge all 3 rounds in the burst before the recoil impulse hit, thus allowing for better hit probability.
Oh, wow.
Did
That's
you really
the first
have
part of the question. The second part is, why was it not
That's part
adopted?
2.
A few answers. One answer is that because the technology was really not mature yet, but really the big answer is political. German unification at the end of the decade meant that there was no money left over for pie-in-the-sky military procurement programs. All the money had to go toward rehabilitating the newly annexed East. So the whole program fell through.
Okay, in the studio, raise your hand if you think that Sam is secretly Carlos from Ontario.
yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. That's exactly what it is. Hey, I've always had a question about this. So it's a bullet encased in a propellant, but what ignites the propellant? So you don't have a casing. You don't have a brass casing. It was some kind of hardened propellant. But how did the propellant ignite? Did it have some kind of
Firing pin?
With the G11's 4.7 by 33 millimeter cartridge, there was a chunk of priming compound embedded in the rear of each round, and there was still a mechanical firing pin that would impact that.
Oh, so just the pressure from the firing pin hit the
Propellant?
not the propellant, the little piece that caused the spark, and then
The primer.
The primer. There you go.
There you
Look at that. There's a reason to vote for him right there.
There you go.
How
Hey.
about you guys with the gun guys?
Nah, we don't know anything.
Yeah. Guns scare me.
Nah, he set me up for that one.
Guns scare
We
me.
talked about it before the show. So
Oh, good. Well, somebody's talking to him.
Well, that's interesting, man. Hey, awesome job. You got it right. Bing correct. Congratulations.
We don't have a Bing correct guy.
I know. The Bing correct guy is at home sick or something. So awesome job. Very, very cool. You pretty much nailed it. I mean, you seriously almost said exactly
word for word the entire paragraph.
Word for word the entire paragraph that this guy wrote.
Well,
So yes.
Is there anything in Carlos's answer that I might have left out?
I don't think so. H&K G11 developed in the 80s was a groundbreaking rifle that utilized. You're not smarter than us. That utilized caseless ammunition. Unlike traditional cartridges, the G11's rounds had no casing. This reduced the weight and space needed for ammunition, allowing soldiers to carry more rounds. The rifle's advanced firing mechanism and unique design also enabled an extremely high rate of fire. So you actually gave more information with reduced recoil. And you explained that. The reason is for the reduced recoil is because it fired the 3-round burst so quickly that didn't even have time to feel the recoil by the time the third one left the muzzle. Despite these advantages, G11 faced several challenges, including technical issues with the ammunition, high production cost, and the complexity of its design. Additionally, German reunification at the end of the Cold War and budget cuts led to the cancellation of the project. So
He even gave a better answer
I
than
think
what
so.
you just read.
Yeah, he did. He did a good job as usual, man. Hey, where are you right now? Are you in? Where are you in Michigan right now?
I'm traveling. I am in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan at the moment.
How much stick time did you get?
Ooh, I haven't added up all the numbers from today, but I'm going to say significantly more than 6 hours.
He was flying a plane with mom and dad in it for the last 6 hours. And
What? Really? What kind of plane?
Piper Cherokee. We, going for a family vacation, going to visit family. That's how we do it.
So you decided, hey, let me take you up in the air.
Something like that.
So what was it? A club plane?
No, they own it.
Oh, they own it.
Yeah.
Did you fly it from Virginia?
My father's a flight instructor. That's why.
Did you fly all the way from
rolling in
Virginia?
the dough here or anything? What's that?
So you flew all the way from Virginia?
Yes.
Nonstop?
No, we had to make fuel stops.
Okay,
It
might be one of those airplanes that come down. But
here's something real interesting before we cut them loose. So they're about to fly tomorrow morning. They're going to fly over Lake Michigan, and they fly all the way up to about 10,000 feet, which is pretty high. They don't usually, that kind of
a plane.
But the reason they go up to 10,000 feet is in case they lose the motor over Lake Michigan, they can still glide all the way over.
I'd go 12,000.
Yeah, really.
I wouldn't fool around with 10, dude.
Did I explain that? Is that right, Sam?
Yep, that's correct. It's a small airplane. We're literally shoulder to shoulder in there, and there's one engine. So, for the sake of safety, having that margin to be able to glide is pretty essential.
So
I don't want to get wet.
Are you nervous sitting next to your dad since he's an instructor?
No, I'm fully licensed. I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, I was always.
Does he think that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't you get nervous when you rode with your dad, but in a car?
No way.
No
way. Pedal to the metal. My old man.
Well, hey,
he's all about the drag
safe
racing.
travels. Take lots of pictures.
Yeah. Look for the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it's out there.
Or the Andrea Doria.
Yeah, it's yes, it is. Different lake, though.
Yeah, I know.
Also, you got your blog up. You told us about it last week. You got it up this week. It'll be in Thursday's email, and it is, of course, a book review.
Yep.
It's a book report.
Yep.
I was just going to congratulate
2 minutes. You guys got 2 minutes.
So check it out. Oh, we got to go. We got to read the commercials. That was a
All
good
right, buddy.
show, man.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Sam.
That's it. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.